Good afternoon. I'm Itai. I have joined the INSS about a month ago. וגם כמי שיש לו את הכבוד להוביל את התוכנית הזאת, שהכותרת שלה היא ביטחון לאומי ודמוקרטיה בעידן של פוסט-אמת והיא בעצם מנסה לפתח כלים ושיטות להתמודד עם התופעות האלה, שאת הבעיות שקשורות בהן הצגנו היום די בהרחבה בשעות האחרונות. שתי מילים על המושגים האלה. שני המושגים האלה, פוסט-אמת ופייק ניוז, זכו לבולטות ב-2016 סביב הניצחון של טראמפ בבחירות בארצות הברית, סביב הברקזיט, היציאה של אנגליה מהאיחוד.
coming into power, and also the Brexit in the UK, which led Oxford Dictionary to choose post-truth as the word of the year, and to say that it actually impacts, that emotions impact us more than facts. It is quite a politically charged term. Trump says that the media distributes fake news, and the same is said by the media about Trump. And it's actually how easy it is to distribute conspiracy theories and all sorts of mistakes and lies. And this program is named after the 15th Chief of General Staff of the State of Israel, of the IDF, in fact, Lipkin-Shahak of blessed memory. In 1988, when he was the head of intelligence, Lipkin-Shahak wrote the following: in their favor, in man alone is the skill to integrate information and to get to the kind of assessment that will allow decision makers to decide whether we should be heading for peace or war. And these words, to me, really connect to my personal experience and to the images you see behind me. If you are observant, you can see that I am there in the picture wearing uniform, and this picture was shown on Channel 11 when we talk about Protective Edge, because this was a kind of a small meeting we held during Protective Edge, and people have been in these rooms over the years, and these rooms are always full of uncertainty and full of the fog of war and combat, and there is some charm and some magic to this fog, to this uncertainty. But in Protective Edge, and I think that we have come across these things in other events as well over the years, there was something else there. There was something different about the regular, familiar uncertainty of battle. And this new thing was the existence of several groups of truths. And I say truths because there are no lies here. There are coherent stories about reality that are based on facts. Some are more coherent, some are less coherent. There was the group of the politicians' truths, which it too was not coherent. I mean, the Prime Minister has his or her own story, and the politicians have their own. Minister of Defense and the Minister of Economy will come in with his own truth in a moment. And in this small, compressed, sort of stuffy room, there are also the professionals, the intelligence, the ISA, the Chief of General Staff who integrates all of this. The media is also in this room in various ways, and the public also communicates with this room through the public media, through the social media. And onto this really heavily laden table, there's another group, the group of truth that comes from influence, which was also extensively referred to in the beautiful conversation between Amos Manela and Deron Manelis, the IDF spokesperson. What we want people to understand here in Israel, but also outside of Israel, in the United States and elsewhere. And through this tiny window in the back there, we also have the influence of the other side. What do they want us to understand? And ostensibly, it's wonderful because the founding fathers of Western liberal democracies wanted exactly that to happen. They wanted all of these truths to go into the room and sort of be conflicted and confronted with one another, and something good to come out of it. The truth. But the truth is, it happens sometimes, but more and more in recent years, this is what happens. this difficulty understanding reality, and it was never actually easy to understand reality. And within this difficulty, within this chaos, we can identify three groups of problems. One group is the old problems. It was always difficult to understand the reality, from Pearl Harbor and Barbarossa to Yom Kippur War and 9/11 and other events. These rooms had difficulties understanding reality, most of which had to do with sort of a distorted way of understanding and of seeing reality. But some of these problems are currently enhanced because of this explosion of information and other problems. But there are also new problems which emerge today, I think, quite significantly. And when you want to sum them up, there are three problems that this program tries to deal with. The first is the growing difficulty distinguishing between truth and lie, a difficulty that is technological, basically, and we didn't have to deal with it in the past. Most of the raw material we used in these rooms, we assumed to be true. There were also non-truths, but it was usually easy to distinguish between them. Now, with the fake news and other things, it is much more difficult to distinguish between truth and lie. And this problem is fundamentally technological. But the second group of problems is more cultural, more social, and it has to do with undermining their place and the need to find them and discover them. It has to do with losing trust in these establishments that were supposed to discover and study the truth. And the third problem is the sort of organized campaign we see in Israel and elsewhere against the establishments that were responsible for discovering the truth, for finding it out. And in the INSS, in this program named after Lipkin-Shahak, we are joining other forces with other organizations around the world that are also engaging in the attempt to discover new tools, to develop new tools to deal with this. So we heard from Attila and from Dudi, who are both part of this program as well. The first to have noticed this were journalists, The Economist, The Times, other papers had front-page articles on this. And as we can see, we also have other institutes, other research institutes in the science and in RSIS, and even in Singapore there are research institutes that are starting to talk about this and study this, and from all of this work we can say some things are common in the sort of initial insights into the problems and the directions of solution. The first is this is a global problem. It doesn't have to do with just one hemisphere. It is very much common everywhere in the world. The second thing is, and I will reiterate that this problem has repercussions both on democracy and on national security, the two issues we have decided to talk about in this conference this year, and the solutions which are yet to be consolidated, but the direction that it's taking, they need to be very comprehensive. And we're wondering, and we're going back to this question, if we go back to the panel on cyber yesterday, we are used to thinking of electricity, gas, energy, the financial system as crucial infrastructure. But in a liberal Western democracy, truth is also critical infrastructure. So who is actually protecting the truth? And that is the question that this program is aimed at answering. And in order not to get into this philosophical discussion about the truth, we are adopting a kind of soft definition of the truth. We are saying that it is a professional analysis of facts, this kind of room that the military and security cabinets usually saw as their infrastructure. And the two areas we will be focusing on are areas that I think many in this room believe there is still truth to, the kind of professional analysis that is factually based, where it's very important to find out this truth in order to make decisions correctly. The first is national security. This picture is no longer up to date, but the problem remains. The people in the room that I showed you before are supposed to find out the truth and make decisions based on that truth, and also the informed public, who is supposed to be, who's supposed to be able to vote, who's supposed to be able to know what's going on in order to make their informed decisions at the ballot box. So when we're asked why now, I like to agree with those who said that these problems are not new. They have been typical of humankind since the dawn of time. But there is something about the current day and age that make this problem something we need to deal with differently. First of all, as Karine said very nicely, it's first of all technology, social media, the changes in media, the communications, so much more information is passed and in so many different channels, and also everything else that has to do with technology. But no less than that, we're talking about social developments that undermine the place of truth, the need to discover it, and a whole series of stakeholders that are very happy with this model. It's part of their business model, it's part of their political model. So what kind of directions are possible for this challenge? And we can point to four. Technology will not solve the problems that it created, but it can help grappling with these phenomena, particularly technology that identifies lies and liars, to try and improve the ability to distinguish lies between lies and truth. Methodology, how do we do that? Ways of ranking reliability, a regulation of the large platforms that really bear a lot of responsibility for this area, as we explained in the previous panel, and education. Educating to critical thinking, to curiosity, that will probably be the main instrument with which we can address these problems, but it also has problems of its own. Education, if it's too strict in this regard, may lead to greater undermining of trust. In the background, we also have huge warning signs, because Western liberal democracy does not like having a body, an organization that decides what the truth is. And how can we find out the truth? Sometimes the truth is in the margins, as Yuval Noah Harari likes to say, and it takes time to find it out. We have to look at the margins, see what's happening there. So how can we, within this entire chaos, discover the truth without the kind of regulation that might stand in the way of such discovery of truth? So this plan that is enabled by the generous donation, it will allow us for the next 3 years to grapple with these phenomena, has 3 directions in mind. The first direction, which we're starting this year already, is research, studies that are supposed to characterize these phenomena, understand them, identify their impact on democracy and national security, and trying to look for channels of solution. This has a lot to do with technology. It is deeply intertwined with technology, which won't solve the problem, as we've said, but will help us grapple with it, and capabilities that are supposed to allow the INSS, when we are in this club of people who are supposed to discover the truth, to determine it as a basis for making decisions in national security as part of an informed understanding public. These are the kind of capabilities, the kind of perhaps platforms we'd like to set up in the INSS that will help us discover the truth. Thank you very much.